On October 14, 1944, a car carrying two officers pulled up to a house in a small German town. They brought no handcuffs, no arrest warrant. They brought a choice: a people's court or a cyanide capsule. The man inside was given 15 minutes. That man was Erwin Rommel, Field Marshal, one of the most celebrated German commanders of World War II. The reason for the visit: suspicion of involvement in a plot to assassinate Hitler. But here's the strange part. Rommel had no close ties to the plot's key organizers, not to Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg, who planted the bomb, nor to General Ludwig Beck, who was meant to lead the new government. He hadn't attended a single conspirators' meeting. No one could prove he even knew an assassination attempt was coming. So why did Hitler conclude Rommel was involved? And was he actually? To understand that, you have to understand who this man really was. Because in the end, that's exactly what got him killed. Rommel was born in 1891 in Heidenheim, a small town in southern Germany. A middle-class family, his father a schoolteacher, his mother from local minor nobility. Nothing that pointed toward a military future. As a boy, he wanted to build airplanes. His father shot the idea down. Aviation was too uncertain a career. He offered two options: teaching or the army. Rommel chose the army. At 18, he joined an infantry regiment. By 20, he was enrolled in officer school. In January 1912, he received his first commission. World War I lay ahead. And that's where it became clear what kind of commander he would be. At the front, Rommel stood apart from other officers, not through raw aggression, but through something harder to teach: the ability to read a situation faster than the enemy and make decisions where others waited for orders. At the Battle of Caporetto, his small unit seized strategically vital positions and forced the surrender of Italian forces that significantly outnumbered his own men. For that operation, Rommel received Germany's highest military honor, the Pour le Mérite. Remember that trait: acting fast, taking on more than the rulebook called for. It would shape his career again and again, not always to his advantage. The next war was still years away. After World War I, Rommel returned to peacetime service, commanding infantry units, lecturing on tactics. In 1937, he published those lectures as a book. It circulated widely, including among men who would one day face him across a battlefield. That same year, something significant happened. Rommel was appointed commander of Hitler's personal escort. The proximity to the Führer was noticed. Hitler took a personal interest in him. When Germany was preparing for the invasion of France, Rommel personally asked Hitler for a division. He got the 7th Panzer and pushed it forward so fast that his own command sometimes had no idea where he was. His philosophy was straightforward: don't push across the whole front. Pick one point and drive through it. And always lead from the front so decisions could be made on the spot without waiting for approval from the rear. By the end of the French campaign, his division had earned a nickname: the Ghost Division. The enemy never knew where it would appear next. Rommel's name was spreading beyond military circles. In 1941, Hitler sent him to North Africa. The mission? Stop the British and stabilize the front. Rommel arrived in Tripoli in February. Reinforcements were delayed. He was badly undermanned. He ordered dummy tanks placed on his positions so the enemy couldn't gauge the true situation. This is where the legend was born, the Desert Fox. And this is where his name crossed far beyond Germany's borders. Churchill praised him on the floor of the British Parliament. British soldiers on the front drew his portrait. When your enemy starts publicly respecting you, you stop being just a general. You become something larger. Hitler saw it. In June 1942, Rommel's forces captured Tobruk, a heavily fortified keystone of British defenses. More than 30,000 soldiers surrendered. The very next day, Hitler promoted him to Field Marshal, the highest military rank in the German army. By the end of June, German forces stood at El Alamein, 60 miles from Alexandria. One more push, and Egypt seemed open. But at that moment, Rommel fell seriously ill and was forced to return to Germany to recover. While he was gone, the British and Americans regrouped and launched a counteroffensive. Rommel came back, but couldn't reverse the tide. El Alamein was lost. Then, Tunisia. Rommel repeatedly requested permission to withdraw to save his men. Hitler refused, then relieved him of command. It was the first open fracture between them. Rommel was reassigned to Europe to organize the defense of Normandy. By this point, he was clear-eyed about the situation. The war was heading toward an end, and not in Germany's favor. On June 17th and again on June 29, 1944, he met with Hitler alongside Field Marshal von Rundstedt. Both times, the message was the same. Continuing the war is pointless. Germany needs to negotiate peace while it still has something to offer. Both times, Hitler refused. On July 17th, a British aircraft attacked Rommel's staff car. He suffered severe head injuries and was hospitalized in Ulm. 3 days later, July 20th, 1944, a bomb exploded at Hitler's headquarters. The assassination attempt failed. Hitler survived. Arrests swept through the military. During interrogations, one of the conspirators mentioned Rommel's name, not as the man who planted the bomb, not as an organizer, but as someone who could, in theory, have led a new government had the coup succeeded. Did Rommel know about the plot? Possibly, in broad strokes. Did he give his approval? There's no direct evidence. Did he take part in planning the assassination? No. But his name had been spoken in an interrogation room. And that was enough. Though by all appearances, the conspiracy wasn't the only thing at play here. Hitler chose not to hold a public trial. That itself says something. A trial meant exposure. Rommel might speak, might explain himself. And above all, he was too famous. Every German knew his name. His enemies abroad respected him. Putting him on trial as a public traitor would invite uncomfortable questions about the regime itself. So another path was chosen. A quiet death. The official story? Died of wounds. A state funeral. A period of national mourning. Was Rommel a conspirator? Most likely not, at least not in the conventional sense of the word. But his name had been spoken as the name of a man who could replace Hitler. And for the Führer, that was enough. Rommel was buried in Herrlingen, near Ulm. For many years after the war, veterans of the North African campaign gathered at his grave on the anniversary of his death. From both sides. Former enemies standing side by side. That happened for almost no other commander of World War II.